You don't know how to prepare for the ISO 27000 certification audit. You're not sure if you're ready. You don't know which questions the auditor will ask. In this video, I'll present you what to expect at ISO 27000 certification audit from my experience working with thousands of companies that went for this certification process. And after watching these videos, you'll have a clear idea of what this process means, how it works, and also how you need to prepare and pass the certification audit. This video is intended for beginners who are doing this certification for the first time, so I'll explain the whole thing in very easy to understand language. And if you want to learn more about ISO 27001, subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button below. This certification audit happens after you complete all the steps in the implementation. And the main purpose of the audit is for the certification auditor to find out if you are completely compliant with both ISO 27001 standard, but also with your own policies and procedures. I have a separate video which explains all the implementation steps, but some of the last steps in the implementation that you have to perform before the audit are internal audit, management review, and you have to close corrective actions. After you've done all of these steps, then you can actually go for the certification audit itself. The certification audit has three stages or phases. And the first stage, stage one, is called document review. This is where the auditor takes all of your documents and compares them to the standard and assesses whether they are compliant with the standard. Stage 2 audit is very different from stage 1 audit, and it's called a main audit. And this is where the certification auditor comes to your company, interviews your employees, reviews all the evidence, and basically the auditor wants to find out if your employees are complying with whatever you have written in your policies and procedures. Stage 3 audit is called surveillance audit. And actually it happens after your company gets certified, because if you're successful at the stage 2 audit, your company will get the certificate. Now the certificate is valid for 3 years. So let's say that your company goes for the main audit in, let's say, July 2024. This means that the certificate is valid until July 2027. Now, in the meantime, the certification body needs to verify that you're maintaining your ISMS in a proper way, and this is why these surveillance audits need to happen. And they happen actually 2 times. So the first time is 1 year after the main audit, so this would be July 2025, and then the second time in July 2026, so 2 years after your initial certification audit. Now, after 3 years, your certificate expires, and then you can decide whether you want to go for the recertification, which is basically a new cycle of a new audit. What does this process tell you? Basically, it tells you that the documents that you're writing are not enough for you to pass this certification. You actually have to make sure that all of your employees in the company understand these documents and that they are complying with these documents, because otherwise you will have only some documents which no one really cares about. And interestingly enough, most of the non-conformities at the certification audit happen not because you're not compliant with the standard. They're actually happening because your company is not complying with your own policies and procedures, which also tells you that you have to write these documents in a way that it makes sense. So don't write, lengthy documents which no one will understand. Rather, go for some easy to understand, shorter documents which make sense for your own company. Also, what this process tells you is that once you complete the certification, you're not actually done with ISO 27001. You have to maintain your ISMS, your Information Security Management System, if you want to keep your certificate. This means that you need to keep doing these activities that you have prescribed through your policies and procedures, which brings me back again to the point of making these documents something that makes sense and that are understandable for everyone in the company. So, what will the auditor ask you during the audit? Basically, the auditor will ask for evidence. And there are 3 types of evidence the auditor will be looking for. So first, the auditor will be looking for written evidence like logs, records, these kind of things. Second, the auditor will be interviewing your employees, because an interview is also a kind of an evidence which is completely acceptable for the auditor. And the third type of evidence is a personal observation of an auditor. So for example, an auditor can walk around your offices and see if your employees are protecting their devices in a good way. Let me give you a couple of examples. Let's say that the auditor is auditing how you're doing your backup. So the auditor will ask, first of all, the logs from your backup system. So he will ask your system administrator to show him the logs from your last, let's say, a couple of months of how you're doing your backup. Second, the auditor will interview, let's say, your system administrator on how the whole process is done. Who is also involved, who is, let's say, replacing the system administrator if this person is on a vacation or something like this. And the third thing and the third type of evidence the auditor will be looking for is personal observation. So let's say that you're doing some kind of physical media for backup, let's say backup tapes or backup disks. The auditor then might ask, where are these backup tapes stored, just to see if they are protected enough. So the point being here is that the written evidence is not the only evidence the auditor will be looking for. And actually, auditors typically prefer interviews rather than written evidence, because through these interviews they can uncover much more about the company and their security practices than only from written evidence. There's one important thing that you need to know about certification auditors, and this is that they are not allowed to act as consultants. What does this mean? Let's say that an auditor finds a non-conformity in your company, then the auditor is not allowed to give you a detailed explanation on how to fix this non-conformity, because if the auditor would act as a consultant, this would put him or her into the position of conflict of interest. So they are not allowed to consult you. Which brings me actually to another point here, is when actually you are doing the certification audit, you have to build this positive relationship with an auditor. Why is this important? Because if you have this positive relationship, meaning that you are answering the questions correctly, that you're not avoiding these questions, that you're not hiding some things from the auditor. So if you are showing this goodwill towards the auditor, then the auditor will actually try to help you at least a little bit without going too much into a consulting arrangement, so to say. So you can actually, by being on a good terms with an auditor, you can go in this gray area where the auditor will still help you and give you a direction for resolving a non-conformity without actually going into great lengths of actually doing the consulting itself. So be good with the auditor. This will certainly help you with the whole certification process. Okay, I hope this was helpful and that you learned everything that you wanted to know about the certification audit. And you can click here to sign up for a free trial of Conformio. This is ISO 27000 software made by Advisera, and this software was designed for smaller companies and takes them actually through all the implementation steps. It provides with all the templates, it gives them the details of internal audit and management review, and also it tells them exactly when they're ready for the certification audit.